guests will play a much bigger role in our parks for Jurassic World Evolution 2. And while I like the idea, there are definitely a few flaws. These flaws can vary from just being a constant annoyance to the return of clipping. So in today's Jurassic World Evolution 2 video, I go over guests and how they could be improved. Also, thanks for 500 subscribers. When I started this channel 2 months ago, I didn't even anticipate hitting 100 before the end of the year, so thank you all so much, and I hope you enjoy the video. As I've already said, in Jurassic World Evolution 2, guests will be crucial if you want to make any sort of money. We will now need to cater for guests with 4 different types of interests, hobbies, whatever you want to call them. These, well, I'm just going to go with interests, being general, adventure, nature and luxury. Now, don't get me wrong, I get the idea or what they're going for, but my only problem is, what if a certain interest group isn't satisfied with your park? I'm praying this just means like less profit, but knowing Frontier, guests could maybe potentially somehow sabotage our parks. I don't actually know how they could sabotage, but if they can, hopefully all it is lower publicity or something of the sorts. Which in my case, I won't really care about, as I really only ever play sandbox. On a more positive note, our visitors do have more unique animations to at least try and give the impression that they're real. They don't just stand around pretending to point at walls. Now they can actually point at dinosaurs for a change. Although the thing I requested so much in the forums was that guests would be able to see through fences, and unfortunately they can't. You'd have figured for a game with such a heavy influence on visitors that they'd be able to see dinos through a cable fence, but I guess not. Honestly, it's a shame, but I'd imagine it's because very few people would be using viewing galleries otherwise, which is fair enough. Going back to the 4 guest interests, these will have an impact on your shops to an extent. As I'm sure you're aware, we can edit building designs to whatever we want, but when it comes to campaign, I think it may be a bit more restricted. My reasoning is, guests with different interests will have different needs, and what a specific shop sells will come into play. For example, luxury will desire fancy restaurants and whatnot, whereas adventure would probably want something like fast food. This will impact designs, as what you choose to sell gives your store a sign of, well, whatever it sells, and since colours for these signs seemingly can't be changed, some designs would just look outright horrible. So while it doesn't actually mean that much, it will make some pretty horrible colour combinations. You'll be pleased to know guest death animations are also changed in Jurassic World Evolution 2. In the first game, they were not very unique and got really repetitive. Of course, we also have new flying and marine reptiles, which probably means new kill animations too. We have footage of a pteranodon not necessarily killing someone, but it goes without saying they're either severely injured or are, well, dead. This animation does raise a question though, and that's, can marine reptiles kill guests? I believe Evolution Square referred to it as the Zara death animation, obviously as a callback to Jurassic World when Zara got dropped into the Mose Lagoon by a pteranodon. However, in my opinion, that would be rather hard to implement. We know pterosaurs don't follow a specific flight pattern anymore and instead free roam, so how would they fly over a lagoon and know to drop the guest? It would probably take some incredible software to even come close to creating something like that, but I guess we'll have to wait and see. Dinosaurs themselves also likely have new guest kill animations. I just can't find any examples, but I think if pterosaurs do, it's safe to say they do too. Moving on to some things I think Frontier could add to make visitors more realistic, I'll start with the ability to fight back against the dinosaurs. In a real world scenario, if a dinosaur broke out, yeah, a lot of people would be running, but if it were only, a cola feces, I don't see why everyone would panic. As a matter of fact, I think a handful of people would actually try and fight it, as it's not exactly a massive scary apex predator, is it? Obviously, if it were a large carnivore, it's different, as they'd probably get stomped on anyway. Another thing I'd want to see is a sort of guest views page. This would let you see people's opinions on your parks and what guests want to see, as well as what you could build to fulfill their desires. I guess in a way this is already in the game of the 4 interest groups, but it's just a more creative way to approach it. say somebody wanted more large carnivores, they could say that, and it would also help if you're lost for ideas. I don't actually mind guests other than the clipping and whatnot, but let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Once again, thank you all so much for 500 subscribers. We've come so far in less than 2 months, and I'm so grateful to be where I am. My goal was actually 500 by the end of the year, and as we've hit that now, I guess we just keep growing and see where we end up. Anyways, thanks for watching, and I hope to see you all next time.